everyone, we're going to make an Ariel pop socket today. I've gotten a lot of questions on these, so we're going to do a quick video to show you how these are done. This is what it looks like on my daughter's phone when we're done. Alright, so the way we do these is first things first, you need a silicone mold. I get mine off of Etsy. This right here is 4 centimeters across. They do have several sizes available, so make sure you get the right size. The next thing is we use an epoxy resin. This is the one I use. I got it from Hobby Lobby. Super easy to use. It's a 1-to-1 mixture. I also use glitter. Mod Podge to put the glitter on. We've got our foam grip, and it's just a generic foam grip. I've also used E6000 to attach the foam grip to the Mickey Mouse head. Here are the buttons that we use. I bought mine from Hobby Lobby. You can get them from Joann's or Amazon or tons of other places. They're really easy to get. Alright, so first we will take our mold. I've already mixed up some of the epoxy. We'll go ahead and dump it in this mold. And I fill mine about 1/3 of the way full. I'm sure there are other ways to make these pop sockets. This just happens to be the first way that I tried it. It worked out, so I'm just going to keep doing it. Alright, make sure that it gets to all of the edges. There we go. And once that is done, we set it to the side. As you know, epoxy does take up to 24 hours to completely harden in the mold. So we'll just set this aside. That will dry overnight. The next day, this is what it looks like. It's just a clear piece. So there we go. And for this, we're just going to take a small paintbrush. And we're going to put some of the Mod Podge on here. And I just do a thin layer because you're going to want to do more than one layer of glitter on here to make sure you can't see through it. So I typically do 2 layers, some of the really light colors like a light pink, light blue. I've noticed you do need to do it up to 3, maybe even 4 times to make sure that it's completely covered. So there we are, covered in Mod Podge. Let me put this down. And we will just cover this in glitter. And I really cover it because I just pour my excess glitter right back in the bottle. So here we go. And that's what it looks like. There's our first layer. Now, like I said, I will do this one more time. This one does have 2 layers. So you can't see through it. It looks great. So when we get here, let's see, we're going to take our same mold. We're going to put this right back in the mold that it started in. Make sure it is completely pushed down. If you don't have it pushed down all the way, you will catch epoxy on the underside of it. It does not look as good. Okay, so here we are almost done. These are our buttons. Again, these are the Jessie James Dress It Up Disney buttons. And okay, so once you get your buttons, the back side of them, they have this little loop on it. And we're going to want to make sure that we cut that off. You want your buttons to lay flat down in the mold. So again, let me make sure it's all pushed down. And then we just arrange our buttons in here however you'd like. There we go. Get Sebastian in there. Super cute. Here we go. So all of our buttons are now laying in there. The last thing we do is we're going to take our epoxy and we're going to just cover the outside of these buttons. So I don't pour it directly on any of the buttons. I kind of pour it in those blank spaces and just let it fill in on its own. Just make sure you look through, don't overfill your mold. There are some of those tiny little spaces in the buttons. You want to make sure you get the epoxy down in there so everything is covered, or all the surfaces are covered. Oh, I got it outside of my mold a little bit there. It's okay, we're just gonna wipe that off. Alright, so once we get everything in there, let's see if it's completely full. And it is, so everything, the epoxy is now flush with the top of the mold itself. I'm just going to get a paper towel, that area that I had gotten overflowed, that I overfilled my mold. We're just going to wipe that away. There we go. Okay, so now that it's all set, we're going to let it set overnight again for 24 hours. I don't put my rhinestones in right now, and that's simply because the rhinestones would sink to the bottom and they would just look like silver specks in there, and that's not the look we're going for. We want those rhinestones to sit on top, nice and pretty. So I wait several hours. I'll give this 4 or 5 hours. I'll let it sit, and then I'll stick the rhinestones just on top so they don't sink down, and then let it sit the rest of the night. So in the morning, let me put this to the side. In the morning, or I guess depending on when you start it, but I do mine and then I go to bed. Oh my goodness. So here's what it looks like when you pull it out of the mold the second time. I stuck the rhinestones on it, so as you can see, the rhinestones have texture to them. They don't sink down into the epoxy. The rest of the buttons, as you can see, they're partially in the epoxy since they laid flat down in that mold. And that is the look that you're going for. So last thing that we're going to do is we take one of our phone grips. Like I said, it's just a generic phone grip. It's not a pop socket brand. And we are going to glue this with E6000 onto the pop socket, or excuse me, the phone grip. So here we go. Let me just center that right there. Make sure it's pushed down nice and tight so that it can dry. This will take several hours to become really glued down and dried. So let it sit for a while. And there you have it. Oh, got some glue on me. There is our our phone grip. So here it is again. That's what it looks like when you're completely done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can support our YouTube channel, His Beauty Design. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram. Feel free to send us any questions that you might have. We would love to do some more videos in the future showing you how to do these epoxy projects, maybe some projects you can do with your family. Of course, we would love to see pictures of the projects that you guys have made, so feel free to reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook and show us all your projects.